The views and opinions expressed by Jeff Boudreau in connection with the program Financial Fitness produced at the Sun Prairie Media Center are solely those of Jeff Boudreau and do not reflect the views, opinions, or positions of McFarland State Bank or its affiliates.
Welcome to Financial Fitness, a show that focuses on your financial welfare. My name is Jeff Boudreau, and I'm the bank manager for McFarland State Bank in Sun Prairie. In episode 1, we discussed a budget and the importance of having a budget. We also talked toward the end of episode 1 about the possibility that your budget may not balance. And if we were to use this for example, you can see there's a lot of spending categories, some of which you can cut out if you need to balance your budget, so that you can create an emergency savings or start with your debt elimination, and some of which cannot be cut out. Occasionally, you'll get to a point where there's nothing more to cut from the budget and there is no extra money to put away in savings or debt reduction. When you get into a situation like that, it's important for you to know that there is help. And joining me today will be Peter Curran from the Sunshine Place and Burlie Williams to talk about how you can access that help for yourself. Well, welcome, Peter and Burlie. Peter, could you tell me a little bit about Sunshine Place and the agencies that Sunshine Place supports and how they can help people in need?
Sure, thanks, Jeff. Sunshine Place is a volunteer social services organization. We have 6 volunteer entities that focus on food, clothes, beds, and more. And then we have 5 county agencies that we collaborate with on a regular basis. The focus is food primarily. We have a food pantry open 6 days a week. And anyone in the school district of Sun Prairie can use the food pantry on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, when they have a need. We also have a really unique opportunity with our Sunshine Supper, which is every Monday night, rain or shine. We deliver a meal, not deliver a meal, we host a meal in the Sunshine Place building to about 130 people. And that varies from senior citizens who are in need of getting out of the home to families with children where mom needs a break or needs to get to extend her food menu for the week. To sometimes we even have kids that come by themselves. They're just hungry and they need a meal. We also have a clothing source called Cards Closet, as in Cardinals. Cards Closet provides free clothing to kids K through 12, and that's coordinated through a social worker at the school. We don't have regular hours and where we have like a retail store, but we coordinate requests through the social worker and then deliver it back to the school, and then the kids are able to get their clothing.
So tell me a little bit about the food pantry. If somebody had never been there before, what could they expect to find when they come to the food pantry for the first time?
The food pantry is set up like a mini grocery store. You come in, you check in, obviously, because we need to know who's using the food pantry and know that they're using it once a month if they are a regular user. They come in and we have a shopper that shops with them. They grab a cart, just like you would in a grocery store. And you get to pick out different items from the pantry based on points. Your dollars are your points.
Okay.
And on average, a person gets about 78 points.
Okay.
Which equates to about 70 pounds of food.
So is that 78 points per week or per month?
Oh, per month. Definitely per month. And the food, just to give you for instance, might last 3 to 5 days, depending on what size family. For a family of 4, it probably lasts 3 days. So just to give you a sense, it's probably it's like an emergency or stretching the menu kind of opportunity.
So what would you say, you talked about 78 pounds worth of food. How does that equate to dollars, would you say?
Oh, tough question.
It's tough.
I don't know that.
Because it probably depends on what sort of food you
78 pounds, because they pick canned goods, personal care items, like pastas and starches, and then there's some meat and milk and eggs. So we're probably talking at least $100 for a small family of 4.
Yeah, that's a significant amount
Yeah,
of money.
it is a lot of food.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of dollars, yeah, definitely.
Tell me a little bit about the Sunshine Supper. If I was to go to the Sunshine Supper for the first time, what could I expect to find there?
Sunshine Supper is very welcoming. The doors open at 5 o'clock. We start serving at 5:30. We serve for an hour. You walk in, you do take a number because we need to coordinate that many people. So we call numbers about 10 or 20 at a time.
Okay.
You go through the line, and you're served of I call them the 4 squares.
Yeah.
And you're served a protein and a starch and a vegetable, and then there's dessert.
Can you think of a couple of dinners that you can remember recently? What sorts of dinners
Sure.
were they?
We try to keep it consistent. We have groups that volunteer on a regular basis. So there's anything from lasagna. Taco salad night is very popular. We have scalloped potatoes and ham. And there's a roast chicken casserole. So those kinds of things. The protein and a starch to really fill you up that night, to keep you from being hungry, because that's why you're primarily there, is you need the food source.
And from the dinners that I've been to, it's restaurant quality home cooking.
Sure. Just to give you, for instance, Sunshine Supper is run by a volunteer committee, and people volunteer to bring the food, cook the food, and serve the food. And when you're there, we need about 20 to 30 people in the volunteer group. And half the time you spend, half of the volunteers will cook and serve, and then the other half of their shift, they'll eat with the guest and become a guest.
Okay.
And socialize with the guests to make them feel welcome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's neat.
And you had mentioned Card's Closet as well. Can you tell us a little bit about Card's Closet and what that does for folks?
Sure. Card's Closet is a student-run organization. Started as a high school project in about 2 years ago. The students were challenged to come up with an idea that would change lives in Sun Prairie, and someone said we should have free clothing for students. And they created the concept, and sure enough, they created the concept and then said we should do this, and they did it. And Card's Closet provides clothing for kids kindergarten through 12th grade. So we have all kinds of things. We have shoes, jackets during the winter is really important. And then we even had a prom dress drive.
Okay.
And that was really successful. There were about 20 people that got dresses that were really in need of extending their budget that way.
And what sort of clothes are these?
They're gently used clothing, which is totally appropriate. But there are some items that you'd expect that we would ask people to buy, and that's socks and underwear. And then those are one of our greatest needs, socks and underwear. And we take all kinds of things, and it's seasonal. So as you clean out your closet, we need you to donate to Card's Closet.
So if somebody needed socks and underwear and they came to Card's Closet, those would be donated, purchased items.
Yes, for sure. And
they
they'd
would
still be in
be
their
free.
package.
Yeah.
Right, and they're in their package.
Fantastic. Yeah. And if somebody wanted to reach out to support either Sunshine Place and all the great work that you do here in the community, or one of those entities individually, how would they do that? Who would they contact?
Sure. The greatest starting point is sunshineplace.org. And on our website under services lists all of the different entities that we have under the Sunshine Place umbrella. If there's a specific question, my contact information is on the website. You can call me or email me, and then our facilities manager's information is on there too if there's a specific request. But we're open 6 days a week. We are open during pantry hours, but then we're open a couple hours beyond the pantry hours so that people can come in and ask questions, see our social worker if they have an immediate question, and access all of our services.
So if a person was in need, they could follow those same instructions to be directed to the right agency that could help them.
Sunshineplace.org is a great starting point.
Okay.
But if there's an emergency, you're going to talk about 211 in a minute, and they're another great source, especially if we're closed, to contact 211.
That is a great segue.
Oh, good.
Thank you very much, Peter. So Burlie, can you tell us a little bit about United Way's 211 and the agencies that it points to or supports in conjunction with United Way?
Sure. So 211 is really an easy to remember phone number that you can call to get connected to resources in the community. The idea behind it is when someone is experiencing a little bit of a problem or maybe even a major disaster in their family, that it's hard to know where to go, where to turn, and searching, even Google, which is pretty easy, you could find all sorts of things that are dead ends. However, we've done that research for you. So you call 211 and we can try to find the very best solution for you and talk to you about all sorts of different resources. So for an example, Sunshine Place, we refer to you all the time. Folks are calling from Sun Prairie. And so not only do we talk to folks about what their initial need is, say if folks are calling in about a utility bill or rent, but in the conversation, if we can, we talk to the person about some other sort of resources to help maybe supplement. So like for an example, if someone is calling in about rent, we also try to talk about food and make sure they're connected to food stamps or know about their local food pantry that's close by.
So you bring up a really interesting point with regard to rent and utilities. A lot of times people in need don't necessarily think that there's going to be any help out in the community for them with those particular budget items because those are sort of fixed and they don't move. Is there help in the community for people that need assistance with rent and utility expenses?
Yes, there is. I mean, depending on what community you live in and your situation, so if you call 211, we can help you figure out eligibility, what sort of help there is, how to be able to apply for that, whether it's by calling, setting, trying to get an appointment that way or walking in for assistance. But yes, there is definitely help. Of course, unfortunately, it is limited. There is more need in our community than we have resources to help. But with that, we can think about other things that can help out and may be able to supplement so that when that bill comes around, maybe if you're not able to get the rent help, maybe we've thought about a different way to be able to supplement that either through food or something else that you don't need to spend as much money on.
And I've heard that people can qualify for multiple agency support. For example, if they had a hunger need and they were able to qualify for 78 pounds of food at the Sun Prairie Food Pantry, that they might also be eligible or qualify for food assistance in some of the surrounding communities like northern Madison area. Is that true?
Absolutely. So in Dane County, we are really fortunate that we have a lot of food pantries, and we've made it a really high priority to make sure that folks don't have to decide between paying rent and buying supper for their family. So we probably have around 50 food pantries in Dane County alone, which is pretty phenomenal. And then a lot of the food pantries are focused in on their particular area, especially say like Sun Prairie or Stoughton or those communities. However, in Madison, the majority of the food pantries serve all of Dane County. And part of the reason for that is some of the things that folks need to go to Madison for, while people are in town, they can also get food before they head back to their community. So when you call 211, we can talk about all that and figure out, a lot of times people will call in, say, from DeForest. They have a medical appointment, and we'll say, so what side of town are you on? And we'll look to see what food pantries are close by that they can get to.
That's fantastic. I'd like to talk a little bit about back to school. I know that we're going into summer, so it's kind of off of everybody's mind, but in a couple of months, people are going to have a very large expense coming up to send their children back to school and to buy all those school supplies. Can you tell me a little bit about how United Way 211 can help people in need prepare their children to go back to school?
Yeah, we have, right now we are working with different community partners that have back to school drives and picnics and things like that. So we don't quite have those resources ready to go yet because a lot of those partners are still working at the specific details about, say, where the picnic's going to be or how they're going to serve folks. So I would say probably by the end of June, we'll have all that set up so you can give us a call at 211 and we can help you find the closest place to get those school supplies. And then also, just to quickly mention, those school districts always try to have a little bit of that on hand as well. So not only is there an opportunity at the beginning of the school year, but also kind of halfway through, you know, folks can check in with their school district or their social worker at the school. So just kind of wanted to quickly mention that.
I'm really glad that you did mention that because I think one of the challenges for people that have school-aged children is, what do I do when I lose that support? What do I do when I lose that resource? And this is that time of year where children aren't going to school anymore pretty soon, and parents are going to have to figure out how to afford their care through the summer. Are there any programs that United Way would point to that could help parents with children figure out how to afford their care during their non-school years?
Yeah, so there's, you know, depending on what the parents are looking for, there are some, you know, some day summer programs that we are trying to find different opportunities for that, and so we have some of those. And then along the lines with, we were just talking about food, you know, so, you know, a lot of the kids, they're on free and reduced lunches and some breakfasts through the school year, and then when it gets to be summertime and not going to school, there are summer meal programs as well. So we have information on all of that. A lot of times they're hooked in together, that the day programs and the different fun things that kids can do during the day at a neighborhood center or you know, different organization that's having that program, the meal will be associated with that too.
Fantastic. It truly takes a village to raise a child anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also just kind of quickly with the school supplies, we also work really hard to have our database that, you know, that we're working with folks to find different opportunities to have it reflect seasonal resources. So not only school supplies, but, you know, very quickly, you know, we'll be into the holidays and things like that. So anything like that that's coming up, it doesn't hurt to give us a call. Even if you think, well, maybe there's not necessarily a place to go to get toys, or, you know, I'd like to go to have a meal with other folks, you know, for Thanksgiving. Maybe my family is out of town, or maybe we all just want to go somewhere and have a nice meal. We have all those resources. And then we also work with the Dane County Emergency Management. So if there is some sort of, you know, disaster, then we help get the word out about that. So it could be something that we experience more often than not, say when it gets really, really cold out. You know, we're talking with them about different opportunities to make sure people are safe during that time period. And then also with the summer coming up, if we have another real hot one, then we have resources on that too. And then, you know, flooding or whatever there is out there, we try really hard to make sure we have the resources people need when they call in, and if we don't, we know who does.
Fantastic. Well, Peter, is there anything else that you'd like to share about Sunshine Place and the partner agencies?
Sure, building off of what Burlie said, wanted to remind people, I didn't know if we would get to that, but you talked about the whole range of a year. We have Stuff the Bus, which is an agency program that 211 knows about. We provide free backpacks filled with school supplies to free and reduced lunch families. And we do at least 1,000 backpacks a year.
Fantastic.
So it's really helpful. And then just like you said, the school district, we give the extra supplies to the school district. And then when there's a need at the middle of the year, when a new family comes into town, they're able to give them school supplies. So it's really neat. Toys, definitely. We do a toy program in November, December. And that's another free and reduced lunch family program that they can extend their budget that way. And then the last thing that you mentioned was, or you didn't mention, but it was food again. We have Thanksgiving baskets delivered through the food pantry, and you can sign up for those. Anyone can sign up for those. So it's another way to extend your holiday budget at that time of the year, is to ask to get a Thanksgiving basket.
So Burlie had talked about Thanksgiving dinners. You're talking about Thanksgiving baskets. Tell me a little bit about the Thanksgiving basket. What does that exactly do for the family?
Oh my gosh. They get a 10-pound turkey, stuffing, potatoes, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and a loaf of bread or rolls. So they get enough to make a complete meal, probably for 4 to 6, maybe 8 people.
Okay.
And that really extends a budget for a meal that is fairly expensive during the holidays. Yeah. So it's a really good saving device for them.
So they get everything they need to cook their own Thanksgiving dinner at home.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful program. We did about 325 Thanksgiving baskets. That's about our limit.
Wow.
But it's a program where you sign up, and anyone can sign up for it.
Fantastic. And Burlie, do you have any other thoughts about United Way's 2-on-1 and how it helps partner agencies or people in need?
Sure. So kind of on the other side, we can also help you get connected with trying to help as well. So, you know, with United Way of Dane County, we're working on, you know, so many of the root issues that are causing, you know, folks to have a little bit of trouble here and there. So trying to go beyond, you know, just helping somebody pay their rent, but get at how to help somebody, you know, get a really good job so that they can, you know, have a good, happy life and pay their bills and not have to worry about, you know, making ends meet, you know. So with that, we also have a volunteer center that if you're interested in getting involved, you know, say with helping out at the Sunshine Place or helping at 2-on-1, because we use volunteers with that. But we have so many different volunteer opportunities in our community that people can get involved with. And it can be, you know, helping to stock the shelves at a food pantry. It can be being on a board of directors. It can be being part of community meetings to try to figure out how are we going to address these big issues and how to solve them in a bigger way. So there's all sorts of different ways that we can connect to our community.
And the best way for them to plug in?
Call 2-on-1.
2-on-1. Well, thank you so much, Burlie, for joining me today, and thank you, Peter, for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. So you've just heard from Peter Curran and Burlie Williams on agencies that are here to help you when it seems as if there is no help. And as you start to use these alternative sources, you'll find that you're not spending as much money on groceries or that you're not spending as much money on entertainment as you were before using these alternatives. I would add that the library is another great resource for you to rent movies instead of buying movies and to borrow books instead of buying books, to continue to have that entertainment aspect available to your family and not have to spend for it. Once you find the savings in expenses, you can now start to work towards eliminating your debt and creating an emergency savings for yourself. And in episode 3, I'm going to show you a very specific method called a debt snowball, where you're able to take this amount of money and apply it towards your existing debt payments and eliminate your debt altogether in a very predictable way, at the end of which you'll have even more money to put towards emergency savings or even to save up for that dream vacation or that next purchase that your family needs. So please join me in episode 3 to learn more about the debt snowball.
The views and opinions expressed by Jeff Boudreau in connection with the program Financial Fitness produced at the Sun Prairie Media Center are solely those of Jeff Boudreau and do not reflect the views, opinions, or positions of McFarland State Bank or its affiliates.